Hey, Tom here. Welcome to my channel, Tom Loves DIY. You know, I recently posted videos on making new alcohol burners from squirt cheese cans, of course, but this is a single wall version instead of the double wall. And the performance was outstanding. I was actually kind of blown away. But you know, when you've got a great new burner, you need a great new pot stand. And here it is. According to Wikipedia, this is a pentahedron. It has 6 faces, 1 top, bottom, and 3 rectangular sides. So these triangles give it stability and strength. This thing is almost like it's a solid piece of stainless steel wire. It's made from 2mm stainless steel wire and some thin wall aluminum tubes, and it comes apart into 3 pieces. And it will fit inside this Lixada 650 milliliter pot. When it's in use, the pot sits on top, very stable. The 650 barely comes to the corners, but you can also use an 850, and it sits on there very nicely too. So I'm going to go inside, show you how this is made, and if you're interested, leave me a message on my email, tomlovesdiy@protonmail.com, and I will send you plans for how to build this. Thanks for watching.
So we're inside now, and I'm going to show you how to put together one of these great little 3-piece pot stands. Here we go. First thing, I have a template. This shows me the sizes, and it also indicates the order. Three pieces of stainless steel rod, 2mm, and 1 chunk of aluminum tubing that's 4mm inside diameter and 5mm outside. So it's a 0.5 millimeter thin wall tubing. Some tools. Got a little old pipe cutter, marker, some files that will be helpful, hammer, and I'll be using my vise for the bending. The basic method is to line this up with the template, then use my marker to mark it, and then take it to the vise and bend it. So I'll start out with what I'm saying is the first bend, the small one. Set it there. That's going to create a 1.5 centimeter. And my apologies to those who are kind of stuck in the imperial method of measurement. And then I will put it in the vise, carefully matching up the mark with the top of the vise. Then simply bend it over, get a nice bend. Then I take my hammer and tap it a little bit. I just tap it a little bit to square it off, and then I will check it against the template. Looks like I made it a little bit long, but that happens. Worst case, I can just cut off a little bit. Then I'll go to the next spot and mark that. Make sure it's good. Okay, I marked it just a little bit long, so I'll have to allow for that. And this goes in the vise. And I bend it down, keeping a 90-degree angle on the wire. That looks a little better. Let's check it against the template again. Perfect. Okay, now I need to cut a approximately 6 millimeter piece of this. So I will measure it, mark it, and then cut it using my little pipe cutter. I think I'm going to go just a little bit longer than 6, maybe 6 1/4. I think that'll work pretty well. So I got a good mark there. I'll put it in my vise. Careful not to crush the tubing. This is pretty thin wall stuff. And then I will put my pipe cutter on. Oh, that happens. Okay, so I've got that cut off. Next step, because this cutter tends to flange this in a little bit and the tubing will hang up, I take a small file, this is a tiny round file, and file out the inside a little. But what I've found is it's best to use a flat file. Then I can take this file and get in there and quickly smooth out the inside so that there's no flange interrupting the insertion of the rod. That feels pretty good. So the easiest way to check that is to take the rod, insert it, and push it in. And if, well, that hangs up there a little bit. You don't want that. I'll do a little more filing on that. There, that should do it. Yep, nice and clean. So this is going to go here. This piece rests there. So now I need to mark this bend, bend that, and continue on. I'll show you what it looks like when it's finally done. I end up with about 4 or 5 centimeters extra length on there, and I need to trim it down. Put it in my vise, and I use a triangular file to score it. That will allow me to bend it and break it off. Should be enough. Okay, piece is off. Now it does tend to leave a bit of a ragged edge, so I'm going to use my flat file. I'll move that in a little bit and turn it upright. Okay. And also, I'm going to round it off just a little bit. By rounding it off, that'll allow these to get into the tubing much easier and not hang up. Okay, so bend that back to its proper size, and there it is. Let's check it against the template. Not bad. Actually, pretty close to perfect. You know, we shoot for perfect, knowing that if we don't get it, we'll still get pretty good. So I need to make 2 more of these to complete the stand, and I'll show you when it's done. Here's the completed pot stand. Pretty cool. Priming pan and one of my new burners fits in there perfectly, and I get the proper height here for the pan. I think that this is going to work really well. I'll test it, of course, before I take it out on trail, because you know, you're out there, you want to make sure stuff's going to work. I appreciate you watching. You could subscribe, click like, do whatever those things are that you need to do. But regardless, I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you out on the trail.